So you're looking for a weld machine, your budget's here, your quality's here, and you don't know what to look for when it comes to a used welding machine. Stick around, we're fixing to find you something right here, just from these couple of tips. I'm Austin Ross, pipeline welder for 7 years now, and here on this channel I share tips and tricks for rig welders, pipeliners, and the pipeline lifestyle. If those are videos that you're interested in, make sure and subscribe and ring the bell to get notified when I post a new video every Friday. If you're new to the industry or you're looking to get into rig welding, at the end of this video I'm going to share with you my list of essential tools needed to get started as a pipeline welder. Alright, so if you haven't seen my video on what machine that I suggest, we'll link it in the description. The machine that I suggest is an SA200. They made SA200s, I didn't plan on getting into a history thing, and I'm not the expert on 200s by no means, but they made them, I'm gonna say 50s or earlier on up to like 80s, 90s. Comment below if you know when they made the last SA200. I'd be curious to know, maybe even the first one. Let us know. For those of you that know a lot more about 200s, let us know in the comments. But your common SA200 is, I'm gonna say 60s to 80s model. When you're looking for a used machine, I'm gonna focus on SA200s just because they're cheaper to get into and they're really good machines, especially for pipeline work. You can find an SA200 for anywhere from $1,500 to $3,500. I've seen them go for like $500, and I've seen them go for like $6,000 to $8,000, all redone and nice and repainted and everything. But your average is $1,500 to $3,500, I'd say. Anywhere in that range is real good quality. So let's say you find a machine for $1,500. It might be rough looking, but remember, it's a 70s model machine, right? I wouldn't be too concerned with the looks at $1,500, but you want to make sure it starts and it welds. Starts and runs for a decent amount of time and welds. If it does those two things, chances are you're not going to go too wrong with buying it, because $1,500, you could spend a couple thousand, new carburetor, you know, change it from a mag to a distributor, different brushes, new brushes. There's some things you can do to freshen it up, a new idle kit, all for less than a couple $1,000s, I would think, and have a good solid machine. So if you find one for $1,500 and it starts and it welds, I would consider picking it up. Now if you're looking at one that's like $3,500 or more, you obviously want to make sure it starts up and runs for a good amount of time, sounds good, and it welds, strikes up and welds. And you might even make sure it's already got the idle upgrade kit. A lot of them SA200s, the older ones, have what they call R57 idle kits on them, or idle. That's the original idle situation on them, is the R57. And you cannot run a grinder on that old R57. You can, but you have to pull a pin, change the linkage, and put the pin back in, and it's on high idle. Essentially it's on high idle the whole time so you can run a grinder. But if you want it to idle up whenever you run a grinder and idle back down whenever you're not running your grinder, then you want to put this upgraded idle kit on it. It's just going to work a lot better out in the field that way. Not sure on the price of this idle kit. If it's all original, like, and it's nice for $3,500, and it's got the only good thing about the R57, if it ain't been messed with hardly, and it's all like essentially clean and like you can tell it ain't been tinkered with, then it would still be a good purchase, because an upgraded idle kit is $200, $400. I'm not sure how much an upgraded idle kit is. Let's make a phone call and find out. Bill's Welder Repair, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Here it is. Bill's Welding Equipment RPR.
Bill's Welder Repair.
Hey, this is Austin Ross. I was just calling to get a price on like an upgraded idle kit for like an SA200.
An idle upgrade kit?
Yeah.
Just a second. Sir, they are $375 for the whole kit.
$375, alrighty. That's all I needed. I just trying to get a rough idea.
Yeah, which it'll be the board, the reed switch assembly, the actual solenoid, I believe the plunger, and then the mountain bracket for the solenoid, and I believe decals, and then I believe an oil pressure switch, and high and low switch.
I got you. While I got you on the phone, how much is what carburetor do y'all recommend, and how much is it?
The new ones, the ones that we are able to get is a Zenith carburetor.
The Zenith?
Yeah, I mean, they will either have a Zenith or a Marble. The Marble, we cannot get them new anymore. we just rebuilt it. There are rebuild kits for the Zenith as well, but those we are able to get them new.
Okay, and how much is the Zenith?
304 new.
304, all right. Let's see. I don't have a 200 yet. I used to have some, but I'd like to get a spare machine. I'm just kind of calling to, you know, when I go to buy one, I kind of want to know what kind of money I can expect to put into one, you know. I like them. They're good old machines. I just
yeah, they are.
I just, like I said, I hadn't done any research on what anything cost here lately, so I was just trying to, like I said, get a rough idea.
Yeah, good prices. Yeah, that's good.
Do you guys get a lot of people that want like mags versus distributors on them old 200s, or do people mostly?
It depends. Some of them want distributors on there.
Yeah.
And some of them want mags. I think I've seen more mags than distributors.
For some reason, I can't remember why. It's been a while since I talked to anybody, you know, that has a 200. But for some reason, it seems like I've ran across a couple of people that prefer the mag for whatever reason. I mean, other than like the cold weather, they like it better for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it just all depends on the person. I've had like one or two people that want a distributor instead of a mag.
Yeah.
But that's kind of personal preference.
Sure. Alrighty. Well, I reckon that's all I need. What was your name?
Andre.
All right. I sure appreciate it, Andre.
All right, no problem, sir.
Y'all have a good one.
You too. Thank you.
Bye. All right. Now we know $400 for an idle upgrade kit, and a little over $300 for a carburetor. You heard Andre. You heard what he said. So there's Bill's Welder Repair that you can call and ask any questions usually like that. Bill's Welder Repairs in Oklahoma. Stumps. It's spelled STUMPF. Real good reputation. They're out of Illinois. And then BW Parts is another one. They're out of Phoenix, Arizona. Those three, that's just to name a few. There's several others, some in Texas, Louisiana. But those are three real good ones that repair places or welder places that you can call, and they'll help you over the phone if you have any questions on these 200s or whatever. So resources is a good thing to have. But let's get back on track here. So now that we know how much an idle kit is, $400 for an idle kit. If you spend $3,500 in it and everything's nice, decent paint job. A decent paint job is hard to find on an old 200 nowadays. But they are out there, you know. There's people that have kept them in mint condition. A lot of people might want $3,500 or even $4,000 for a good original machine, because that's how like big of a deal that they are. But if I found one for $3,500 and it had all the original stuff for the most part, and everything was fairly straight and it was in good shape, I would definitely spend $3,500 on it and put another $400 in it to have an upgraded idle kit. You got a machine for $4,000. But I hope this is helping you get an idea of what to look for. And like a carburetor, you know, if carburetor is a real common thing that is meticulous with these 200s. So a carburetor, $300. So you can see how easily $700 or $800 real quick just in those two things. But it's like it's worth it if you can get a machine for cheaper and vice versa. So as far as copper wound or aluminum wound, copper wound is known to be a better welding machine. Whenever I welded with 200s, I was just starting out welding, so I was like, you know, I was learning how to weld, and that kind of takes away from knowing what a machine can do and whatnot. But copper wounds are more valuable. They were built better, and copper, I don't know enough about welding machines and the generator and like what that, you know, I couldn't even tell you what that exactly means. I just weld the pipe. But what I do know is copper wound is better and supposed to weld better. But I know several guys that have aluminum wound. Copper wounds are what you hear called red faces. Your short hoods, I'm pretty sure, are copper wound. They're like mid 50s on up to like the copper wounds, not just the short hoods. Short hoods were late 50s. Your copper wounds were anywhere from mid 50s to late 60s. The early 70s, I think it might even be 70 or 72. They started putting aluminum wound in, and so anywhere from 70 on up to, again, I don't know, let me know in the comments. Those are aluminum wound. I know several guys that have black faces that love them, that rebuild them. They're not as sought after as the red faces, and people value the red faces more. Kind of like old cars, but they're still good machines. So I just wanted to clear that up. Any information that you might know that I don't, please comment below and let us all know. Another common thing with 200s is the oil leaks. The rear main is what they call it. I'm not a mechanic by no means, but the rear main is notorious for leaking in SA 200s. And I can't wait to call Andre or anybody else again to ask him about this rear main, because I think I've heard that they have come out with some type of seal that's supposed to be bulletproof for these 200s, because every 200 out there, there's some that leak oil way worse. People just add oil every day, and there's some that don't leak very much. They might only have to put a quart in it once or twice a week or something, you know. So, but as far as an oil leak, as long as it's not slinging oil everywhere, don't be afraid of seeing oil on the machine, because it's common for the 200s to leak oil a little bit. So with that being said, you know, you might call one of these places that I've recommended and ask them how much it costs to put a rear main seal in, or you know, a new oil pan gasket. I've done some of that on back whenever I used to have a 200, but just call and visit with these people. That's my advice as far as technical questions. But as far as buying a machine for cheap, like if you're looking to buy one for $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, if it starts up good and it runs and it idles decent and it welds, it strikes up and it welds, you've got yourself a good machine. I hope this was able to help you out with a little bit of knowledge that I have. Like I said, I'm not the best, but as far as like engine trouble, like if it's smoking or something, don't ask me. My common knowledge would say that, you know, if it's smoking and slinging a lot of oil, chances are you're gonna have to rebuild a motor, and that can probably get pricey depending on the connections you have and how much you got in the machine. If you can negotiate a deal to get it for $500, maybe you could put $3,000 in it with a brand new machine or whatever new motor cost, and then be out for still less than $4,000 or $5,000, you know. So I hope that helps with those of you that are looking into buying your first welding machine. If you have any questions at all, let me know in the comments. The list of essential tools will be in the description of this video. There will be a link with essential tools needed for pipeline welder. I'm just punching your name and email and I'll send it over to you. My advice for this week is don't be afraid to negotiate. And when I say that, I don't want anybody to get this idea that like you want something for nothing. Like, add value to any kind of negotiation that you do. But when it comes to buying something, don't just pay full price, you know. Ask them, you know, if they got it listed at $2,000, but you see some things here or there that you don't like, say, hey, will you take $1,500 or will you take $1,800 or whatever. Don't be afraid to ask and negotiate a little bit. You'd be surprised what people do, you know. Worst thing that can happen is they say no. Then you give them full price or don't and go on down the road, you know. Research and negotiation. I said negotiation was the advice. Research also. That's one of the reasons I wanted to make that phone call on video, was to show you how easy it is to Google welder repair and call and ask a question. And you get all kinds of information just from talking to people. So research and negotiation. Don't be afraid to do those two things. It'll help you a bunch in this industry. So thank you guys for watching this video. We will see you next Friday. And remember, learn something every day.